Hello everyone, welcome. This is Category 6 Two-Step Equations from Word Problems Part 1. Okay, so we have, first problem is 3 more than a number divided by 6 is 14. So, write the equation and then solve for x or the number. Okay, so before we dive into these problems, we need to know refresh ourselves for some vocabulary. And I'm just going to write it right here. I would suggest you write it maybe at the top of the page, or even better, perhaps in your notes. So we have sum. If we see sum, we're going to think addition. If we see difference, we'll go ahead and predict difference. Let's see. Difference is going to be subtraction. If we see product, we are going to think of multiplication. And if we see quotient, that's the answer to a division problem. Okay. These are going to help us. Go ahead and make sure these are in your notes. Even if you know it, it doesn't hurt spending 20 seconds to write it down. It increases the hierarchy of learning. Okay, 3 more than a number divided by 6 is 14. Okay, so we have 3 more than a number, so we're going to 3 more than a number divided by 6 is 14. Now, if you're stuck here, remember that is here is going to be an equal sign, so we can always start here. Is 14. Now we just got to figure out what's this on this side right here. Now, the number is being divided. Let's have the number as x. You could use n if you'd like. X over 6. X divided by 6. But it's going to be 3 more than this number, so we're going to add 3. Now if you did something like this, where you did 3 more than the number divided by 6 is equal to 14, is this the same thing? Absolutely. Absolutely. This is totally fine. Addition, it's called the commutative property of addition. They can commute. It's going to be the same thing. So, now knowing this here, let's go ahead and solve for x. We'll subtract 3 from both sides, which gives me x over 6 is equal to 11. Now we'll do the inverse operation of this division. It's going to be multiplication. I'm going to multiply both sides by 6 over 1. And I'm going to write up here because I ran out of room, but you won't in your notes. These cancel. X is equal to 11 times 6 is 66. Okay. Let's go ahead now. Look at problem 29G. Write the equation and then solve for x. So it's going to be 2 less than a number. 2 less than a number. Times 3 is 10. I always like starting here. Is 10. That's an easy place to start. It's going to be is 10. And it's 2 less than something. Now what is that 2 less? I like thinking like this. It's going to be, we're going to take 2 away. It's 2 less, it's 2 subtracting. Then 3 times, then a number times 3. So, x times 3. Now, if we want to write that in more algebraic way, we'll do 3x. So, here's our equation. 3x minus 2 is equal to 10. Now, we're going to solve for x. Add 2 to both sides. Start with the addition or subtraction first. These cancel. 3x is equal to 12. This is multiplication, so divide both sides by 3. And x is equal to 4. Alright. Okay. Next problem. The sum of 4 times the number and 6 is 16. I always like, this is the part that doesn't take any brain power. Let's just do this. Is 16. Something is 16. It's a great place to start. The sum, okay, so now the sum, we're going to think of addition, is the sum between 2 things. So what are those 2 things? Well, one of them is and 6. So the sum of and 6, And this blah is 4 times the number, which is 4 times a number we don't know what it is. So now, let me read this, and I'm not going to explain anything, I'll just point this problem out. The sum of 4 times a number and 6 is 16. There we go. Now, let's go ahead and solve for x. Start with the subtraction first. These cancel. 4x is equal to 10. Now, what I want to start doing, we're going to divide both sides by 4, the inverse operation, is start to give you some decimals. This is not going to be a whole number. X is equal to 10 divided by 4. So let's go ahead and do this division. 4 goes into 10 2 times. 4 times 2 is 8. 10 minus 8 is 2. Bring down the 0, and 4 goes into 20 5 times. So x is equal to 2.5. If you'd like to give it in decimal, or if you'd like to simplify this fraction and do x is equal to 2 1/2, that would also be fine. Actually, even if you gave me as 10 is 5 over, x is equal to 5 over 2, that is a good answer as well. Last problem, the quotient, a number. Darn. 2 errors so far. I edited this whole worksheet so many times and spent several hours on it. I thought I checked everything. The quotient of a number, and 2 added with a -3 is -8. So it's going to be is -8. Is -8. So the quotient of a number and 2 added with -3 is -8. So the quotient, when we think of quotient, we're going to think of division. So the quotient of this and 2, so we're going to be dividing these two numbers, the x over 2, added with -3 is equal to -8. Okay. This problem was slightly different in this one in the sense that this one said the sum of these two parts. This one was more logical. You could just kind of put all of these in the same order as the problem suggests. But from here, we'll go ahead and solve for x. I did want to have this because I did want to emphasize adding a negative is the same thing as subtracting. Adding a negative is the same thing as subtracting. That's right. So, am I going to add here or am I going to subtract? That's adding a negative, and that's subtracting a 3. That 3 is negative. It is taking 3 away from this x over 2. So, you better believe I am going to add 3 to both sides. Now all this stuff goes away, the -3 plus 3. This all cancels. X over 2 is equal to -8 plus 3. So I start, here's 0, here's -8, and I'm going to add 3, so I'm going to go up 3 spaces, which gives me -5. I have x over 2. That is the worst x ever written in the history of x's. It's kind of funny in the history of x's. X over 2 is equal to -5. We'll multiply both sides by 2 over 1. The reason why is because this is division. Sorry, this right here is division. So we're going to do the inverse, which is multiply. I like to write it out like 2 over 1 because this is how you were going to see it in Algebra 2, Algebra 1, pre-calculus, and so forth. All of this goes away. We have x now is equal to -5. We can write this as -5 over 1. -5 times 2 is -10 over 1. Add 1. -10 over 1 is just -10. Alright, everyone. Thank you very much. And have fun doing these math problems.